Well, Sloan will come on in a second.
She'll be here.
All right, KavaSpills podcast.
I don't know what. So long.
I know it's been long since I've said that. I don't even know what episode this is, but this is a special episode. We're actually waiting on Sloan to log in. She's at work, but
it's Monday morning at 9:00.
We're up early. This is a special one because we're up early. So just consider yourself very important, my friend. We've been trying to get this interview on the books for a minute, but we got hit by back-to-back hurricanes. So I have my co-host
Ames here.
And then Sloan is going to join us whenever she logs on. But we are proud to introduce, you know what? I'm going to leave it to you. How about you introduce yourself to us?
Hi, KavaSpills fans. This is Sol Broady from Leilo. I'm the founder and CEO. We were one of the first companies to commercialize Kava in the United States and cannot wait to get into this.
Bet. Now, before we get into anything else, we're a little unorthodox on this show. We do things a little bit different. So the questions might be a little bit
off the wall.
So let's get everything out the way and get to the question I think everybody has been thinking about and it's on everybody's mind. Who do you think won the Drake and Kendrick battle?
I think that Kendrick certainly won.
Oh.
I think he got a little overextended.
All right.
Things pushed into a personal realm where I don't think they should have gone, but objectively I think he won.
Yeah. All right, bet. You listen to Drake or Kendrick?
I do.
All right, bet.
I do. Less than I used to though. I think yeah.
You don't probably have a lot of time to listen to music, huh? What's 24 hours look like in Sol's universe? What's a typical day look like?
I try to wake up by 8:30. I'm more of a night owl than a morning person, honestly. Okay. So if I can wake up and usually I'm rolling out of bed into a call. I need something like this podcast to motivate me to get up.
I like
so thank you for increasing my productivity today. I don't love like 2 hours of free time in the morning. I need to be stimulated right away. So usually I'm on calls it's usually a 12-hour block. So like 9 to 9, I'll be working. Most of that is calls. And then I'll try to get a workout in, get dinner with my girlfriend, watch a show. I've been watching The Penguin on Max right now. Have you guys seen that?
I've been sure. All right, I put that because I don't like to start a show before I have the time to dedicate it. So it's on the next list, but I haven't talked to anyone who's seen it. So you recommend it?
I think it's excellent. I don't know. I'm not like the Sopranos and all those mob shows are good, but they're a little slow for me. And The Penguin being in the superhero Gotham universe allows it.
Batman?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So if that last Batman that came out with Robert Pattinson, this is like the continuation of that universe. But because it's in the DC universe, it allows it to be much more dramatic and kind of surreal. So it creates a faster plot in my mind. Anyway, highly recommend it. It's a good one.
I've been on that Netflix show with about the receivers.
Yeah.
Watching that too. Yeah, a lovely show. So,
where are you located?
Yeah, where are you?
I'm out of New York most of the time. So I'm in Manhattan, New York.
Oh my gosh, you're in Manhattan. I'm a Jersey girl.
Oh, really?
Yes, nice. I grew up in North Jersey and moved down to Florida when I was a kid, but I spent all my summers in North Jersey and going to the city, and it was so much fun. You're so lucky to be there.
It's a lot of fun. It's definitely getting more tiring as I get older. I've been here for 7 years now. I went to school at Columbia University in New York City. So
Yeah, we were doing some digging
yeah,
before this, doing some little research, getting my little journalism on, and
yeah.
Columbia, yeah, that stuck out. But what stuck out was Santa Monica. So I went to school out in the Valley, so
Oh, nice.
I saw Santa Monica on there, and I was like, oh, that's dope. So, where are you from?
So I grew up in Santa Monica, and I can kind of
Okay.
tell you guys the Leilo journey because it's intertwined in being a SoCal kid.
Okay.
It was 2018, and if you remember, so this was 6 years ago,
Yeah,
and which is scary to think about.
I know.
And I was still in high school. I was a senior in high school,
Wow.
and there were a couple trends taking place that were, in my periphery. So hard seltzer was totally disrupting beer, right? This was when it was like no laws, when you have a
Yeah.
that whole campaign. And then kombucha was coming into the mainstream.
Yep.
And so was yerba mate to some
Oh,
extent.
huge fan of yerba mate still.
And yeah, yerba mate is awesome. And then also this was the CBD boom, right? When everyone was talking about CBD, it was going to go to a $20 billion industry in 10 years.
Mhm.
And so this was all percolating. And then I went to Fiji on a totally random trip. My mom snagged like a great Cyber Monday deal. That's the only reason we were in Fiji. And she had done it like the year before.
Oh, wow.
So my siblings and I went out to Fiji. I'd never been to the South Pacific before. And I noticed 800,000 Fijians, that's the population of Fiji,
Oh, wow.
drinking this root called Kava that I'd never heard of before, but they were drinking it multiple times a day, every day. Men, women, children, the elderly, babies, all for a slightly different purpose. Yeah, Bula. I don't have any
Bula.
Hey, what's the
energy, and this is
what's
the great irony of running this company.
not to cut you off, but when's the earliest you've ever drunk kava?
That was the earliest in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Well, do you count like late night, like 4 a.m.?
No, that's the night.
No,
Like when you
That's
wake
the
up.
day.
No,
That's-
we can count that because we got to give
No,
him.
that's the end of the night.
If he's been drinking kava all day till the morning, that counts.
No, if you
Yeah.
wake up, that's when it counts. When's the earliest you drink
Ah.
kava?
I think you actually, so when we taste test or when we develop new products, we always try to do it on an empty stomach to gauge true efficacy. So actually, oftentimes right when I wake up, I'll have a new product.
Nice.
We
Yeah.
love kava in the
Nice.
morning. It goes well with coffee. I drink coffee and
Yeah.
kava, and it's
Yeah,
Um,
I was like, we're gonna need some kava. I drink kava pretty much when my eyes open or if it's within reaching distance.
Yeah.
But oddly enough, we just finished this kava tour that we did. We got hit by back-to-back hurricanes. So we usually do this kava tour. So this year was a little different.
Oh, nice.
We donated the proceeds to some of the kava tenders that were displaced. A couple kava bars are no longer here anymore because of these storms. So it did a number. So we're just using our platform to kind of help out in the little we can. And so we just finished that tour. Ames brewed
eight. I brewed 8 gallons of kava on Saturday and Sunday. I did 4 and 4. And my hands were hurting at the end.
I bet.
Yeah. So coincidentally, after all that, I was like, oh, we'll have some kava here. We drunk it all. So I had to rush over to my favorite kava bar around here, Tribe. And then, not favorite kava bar around here. I'm going to around here. And came back. But when I was there, I noticed something I haven't seen before, the new flavor.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
well, and before we get into that, because I'm super excited to talk about the margarita flavor, but awful what has happened in Florida over the last couple months, and obviously affects a lot of the kava community, especially on the West Coast. And just anyone listening that's been affected, we're Leilo has your back, all of our partners. I think we've tried really hard to be as supportive as possible, extending payment terms, helping people replace, merch that may have gotten damaged. So yeah, the Florida community is very resilient. The Kava community is resilient. But did just want to say it hasn't been an easy year in
No,
Florida.
No.
As that.
no. But one thing I think that's been highlighted, and I've definitely noticed, is the Kava community. Because down here in Florida, we have a lot of Kava bars here.
Yeah.
Particularly St. Pete. We're kind of like and this can be debated on anyone out.
Yeah, it's the Mecca.
Kava,
We
yeah, the
are
Mecca.
the heart of the Kava
So,
community.
I lost what I was about to say.
I'm sorry.
What was I saying?
We are.
I was saying something about being in the Mecca.
The Kava community is coming together.
Oh yes, appreciate it. See that? What happens when you interview a Colombian guy. He keeps us on track. But just one of the things I want to highlight is how the Kava community came together. I always talk about Kava bars and Kava communities, like just experiences. Like I've left my wallet at the bar before, and I've called, and it's still not only still there, and it's still the same spot. So that kind of is a representation of the Kava community. So when it was time to help out, I mean, even the people that didn't join us on our tour still donated. So it was almost like, what do you need? What can I do? So I knew the Kava community would step up, but I wasn't, I didn't, it was just a confirmation of like, wow, man, this community is just cool, man. It's
remarkable. It really
New York? Is there a Kava community in New York?
Well, it's one of the more interesting developments. So there are 10 or so bars in Manhattan historically, but there's been a huge fight over the last year and a half with the health department. The health department has been going around and temporarily shutting down or outright closing businesses that are serving Kava and Kratom.
Oh,
it's been tough, and there's been litigation against the state of New York and the city of New York, and we've helped out in a lot of those efforts. Frankly, it's been prompted primarily by Kratom. There were a couple cases of people getting sick, taking too much Kratom, less so around Kava, but as we all know, those ingredients are, for better or for worse, linked or associated.
Yeah.
And so it's been a mess. There are still some Kava bars that are operating in New York, and they're amazing people, and so many New Yorkers love Kava. And then there's a really great community in Long Island. There's some awesome Kava bars out there. So yeah, it's not as big as Florida, but it's funny because you guys reference the cross-pollination between New Jersey and New York and Florida, people up, going down. And so many people in New York have gone to St. Pete. They've gone to Delray Beach. They've said, wow, what is this thing? I need to bring it back to New York.
Yeah.
And so I think there's a lot of synergy there.
Yeah. We had the wonderful pleasure of interviewing a now friend of mine, a gentleman by the name of Jeff Bowman, who was responsible on bringing Kava to America.
Yeah.
So he talks about some of his early journey challenges, getting people to drink this, because what we want to do is, my first time having Kava, the experience was more than just the drink. It was the community and everything. So when I invite someone else, I kind of want to give them that same experience, but I have to remember it's not the same for everybody. But he talked about a lot of challenges he had in the beginning of bringing a new product. What challenges would you say were some of yours when starting this? You like that segue, don't you?
Yeah, after you came back from Fiji and had this knowledge of Kava, how did you introduce it to your friends?
It was a long and painful road. I mean, honestly, I tried it, and to your point, there's such a ambiance to Kava like in the islands or in a kava bar, right? It's not just about, it's the people, it's the environment that you're in, it's the friendship. It's, especially in Fiji, you're out on a beautiful beach, you're chilling,
Yep.
and then what I took back to the States was a bag of medium grind kava.
Uh-huh.
And I wasn't very good at preparing it. And I was telling my buddies in LA, you've got to try this thing, and trying to do a kava ceremony for them. And
Oh,
they were
wow.
saying, why are you putting your hands in the water? And why are you turning brown? And why is my tongue going numb?
Yeah.
All of the common confusions, points of
Uh-huh.
confusion. And so I started just as a really excited 18, 19-year-old saying, I want to share kava with more people.
Yeah, yeah.
And because there was such a barrier to getting people to try it, I started flavoring the kava. And I said,
Ah,
how can I create the kava feeling, but make it more approachable
ah.
for people my age? And that
Okay.
led me to, I was at Columbia. I would make huge batches of horchata. Horchata is great, and a lot of kava bars have a similar flavor because cinnamon, dairy, sugar,
Mhm.
the fermented rice, they all help counteract that kava bitterness. So, for anyone listening to this, if you want to make a kava cocktail at home, kava plus horchata is a great flavor combination.
Oh,
So
okay.
I was in my dorm room in the house making huge batches of horchata and then bringing it to parties. And the funny story out of that is horchata is white, right? It's a
Uh,
milky white drink. And so I would put them in these like little bottles, these, 4 ounce or 8 ounce bottles, and bring them to parties and hand them out to people. And a bunch of girls created the story that I was peddling breast milk
What?
at fraternity parties. That was the rumor going around.
What?
So I was getting made fun of for so many different. What is this guy doing? He's gone off the deep kava, horchata, but there were enough people that didn't want to drink at these parties who loved what kava was doing for them, and
Yeah.
that was gave me the confidence to say, all right, let's take this to a team of formulators. Let's get food scientists involved. And it was still, that kicked off another year and a half
Yeah.
of trying to make it work and eventually breaking through. But it was really baby steps, I guess, is what I'm trying to say along the way.
Yeah.
And finding like what is that ideal presentation, what's the ideal flavor, what's the ideal dosage that is going to create an accessible, convenient kava
Yeah.
experience.
Oh, that's interesting. We just had Sloan join
Oh,
us.
yay.
What's up,
Hey,
Sloan?
Sloan.
Can you hear us? Sloan?
Oh, she's muted. There she is.
There she is. What's up,
Hi,
Sloan?
hi. Hello. Sorry
Good.
I was late.
Nah, you're good. You're good. I can just catch you up. He thought Kendrick won the battle.
Sure.
Yeah.
We're friends already.
Yeah. So, no, we were just talking about some of his challenges bringing kava drink to the market, and he was talking about taste. Now, Saul, what was your first experience? Like your first like brewed kava? Like what was? Tell me about that.
They make it strong on the islands. They make it really strong. And I played rugby growing up. I played football and rugby, and all the Fijians are really good at rugby. A lot of the islanders have really strong rugby cultures. So that's kind of how we were like throwing rugby ball around. And they invited me to a kava ceremony. We're on the beach. We do the whole thing. My family was scared to try it, so I was the only one. And I was pounding shells.
Yo.
Yes.
But as you guys know, as you all know, and everyone listening, kava does. You can be sitting down having a lot of kava. You're super relaxed, and you don't realize that you've lost all motor functions.
Until
Like when you stand up. And that's what I was like, holy crap, because we had to bike back. We were at the beach and we had to bike back to our place, and I couldn't really bike. And I just wanted to like sit on the sand, and I was laughing and having a great time. And my family was, concerned. They were anxious, like, what is going on? Because we had no idea what Kava was. And so that was really when I started learning, researching, wow, this is much easier on your liver than alcohol is. Wow, this can actually promote REM sleep cycles. This can help with muscle recovery and pain relief. It doesn't give you a hangover. It doesn't impair mental acuity. It relaxes your limbic system. And I was like, how in the world does no one know about this? And this is so applicable to the crazy Columbia kids who are running around, just slamming Red Bulls, or we would love this in Southern California. Athletes would love this. So that was, I felt like it was almost too good to be true. And I kept asking myself, why isn't this bigger? Why has no one done this before?
It's like you want people to experience this, and it's almost like you run back and you're like, yo, I found this wonderful thing.
Exactly.
And they don't accept it like you did. It's like, I'm giving you an answer to like a problem that you may have. Just try this. And then either they're thrown off by the taste, or the biggest thing I hate is the misinformation out there, as far as like the people that have never tried Kava that somehow believe that, it's the same as alcohol. It gets you drunk and you get messed up. And I'm like, where'd you hear that from? Oh, the internet. And if you Google these things, there's so much information out there that I don't blame them for, thinking that, because it's like, what do I think? So it's that. I feel like that's always going to be a challenge in getting people to accept something. And since there's so many different people, you almost have to give it in different flavors, so to speak. So were you ever thinking about just staying with brewed Kava, or what was it the people's reaction that made you say, you know what, let me present this in a flavor form that's more, easier on the palate?
Well, we've thought about lots of different things, and we've tried lots of different things. We've thought about making a Leilo Kava bar. We've thought about being a supplier of medium grind Kava, right? Lots of different expressions, and I liken it to coffee. Coffee is a fully developed industry at this point. You have powerful retailers. Which are and in the Kava bar space, there's going to be a Dunkin', there's going to be a Starbucks.
You're seeing it happen.
And there's also going to be a really high-end boutique version. It won't be national, right? And you kind of see that how these players are positioning, right? We want the Leilo brand to be like the Starbucks Frappuccino that you get at the convenience store. Like, that's our lane that we want to play in. We really win when people are going to Publix in Florida and they're not picking up a 12-pack of White Claw, they're picking up a 12-pack of Leilo. That's what success, that's what success looks like.
And they want the same experience because that's the same person. I think a lot of people don't know that that's an option for them. I work in the non-alcoholic, more so functioning space. I sell your product, but what I've noticed is there's a downtick in alcohol consumption, and I think there's an uptick in people just being aware of like, okay, this is doing a lot to my body. Is it worth it? Especially ones that are healthy, and you start this whole diet plan only to mess it up in one night. So I definitely saw the need in it, and I'm always going to push Kava because that's I have it tatted on me. So. I asked a lot of people, have you heard of Kava? And most people thought it was like, it was misinformation. I was so surprised on how many people tried and was like, I love it. It's probably the top 5 items that I sell. And I sell, cannabis, Kava, kratom, functioning mushrooms, a lot of different things. So to see Kava up there, I can see the industry changing. And I will be honest. I used to say if you drink any flavored kava, or if you put anything in your kava, I don't mess with that. Like you need to be able to drink it and take it. You know, I was just forcing it. I think I did that with you. It's just,
Oh yeah.
I made everyone try it the right way, just to get like it. What, you know.
It was love at first sip for me.
Yeah.
I love everything about it. I love the earthiness of it. The flavored kava is nice in certain situations.
Yeah.
I think like the beach is really nice to have that seltzer can, but I do love a brewed fresh kava. What's
the perfect place to have a Leilo? When you think about cracking open a Leilo, or one of your customers cracking open a Leilo, what do you envision? Like, what's the perfect place to drink?
Not right now, Lauren. At the beach.
Right?
Are you at the beach right now, Sol?
Yeah.
Huh?
No.
Does my background show the beach?
I'm thinking you're.
I can't see it.
It's
a little icon.
No, she doesn't have her camera on. I told him you were at work. You're at the beach? Man.
Oh, I didn't know I didn't have my camera on. Hold on.
Let's have a Leilo.
Yeah, you know what? We did pick up a Leilo.
Oh,
she's on the beach.
Nice. Have you guys tried that the margarita yet?
We're
gonna try it right now.
Let me know what you think. Live reaction. This will be interesting.
All right, I'm excited, and I'm sorry. I'm very honest, Sol.
Oh, please. We this is why we're getting it out to our trusted partners. We want to hear.
We'll shout out too.
Oh, the smell is really
shout
good.
out.
They didn't give me one.
0 sugar.
So we went to Tribe and bought one this morning.
I know. Blame me, Sloan. She said you should have got Sloan one, but I didn't have time.
Well, we couldn't have got it to her, but they are available.
I'm on a beach somewhere.
Sloan carries a gallon of kava everywhere she goes. And I'm not.
Show us your kava.
Show it.
Yeah.
Put it on camera. See?
oh, there we go.
Hey, put it closer to the camera. All I see is water. Like, no joke. Like, no matter where she is, there's gonna be some kava in sight.
All right,
That's awesome.
Bula.
Bula.
Oh wow! Wait, how do you get?
That's really
What
good.
do you sweeten? If there's no
I'm glad
sugar,
you like it. No sugar.
What are you sweetening this with?
That's sweetened with monk fruit and a little bit of stevia.
All right, bet I'm seeing a lot of monk fruit being used. And one thing this is very good, Sol.
This is really, really good.
It's not overpowering. Good. I don't feel like I'm drinking.
So what we're seeing,
I love it.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I
was nervous.
James, can you give your description of it so I can know what it tastes like?
Yeah, well, it's a lime margarita.
Yeah.
So it's what we've found is sugar-free, and cocktail flavor or mocktail flavor is really popular. I think people want to replace their alcohol consumption occasions. And so you'll see us lean more into that. We have our pina colada. We now have margarita. We're going to have one other flavor, and that will be its own variety pack. So for people that are strictly trying to replace alcohol occasions, I think, it's really popular during sober October, dry January. It feels like every month now has some name for kind of the sober movement. And then we'll have our fruit flavors on the other side, raspberry and blackberry.
And where in the store will your product be placed?
Good question.
So did you guys see the Sprouts news?
Yeah. I got the big news.
I brought this up.
Yeah, that's awesome. So Sprouts is an interesting partner for us because that's the big leagues for Kava right now. That's
a huge announcement because I've seen Kava not be respected, but that's a huge cosign.
Yeah. And so what happens with Sprouts, they have a data system called spins that all of the natural grocery stores look at. So people see how, now Kava is in Sprouts and how much Kava is getting consumed every week. And then people like Publix or like Whole Foods will look at that and say, well, we should have Kava too. And I can't say exactly how well we're performing at Sprouts, but it's pretty good. It's good enough, I think, for people to say this should be a thing.
Yeah.
And like I was saying at the beginning, our goal is for Kava to be available everywhere, so that Sloan can carry around her gallon jug. But if she doesn't have it for, she forgets one day, she can just pop into the
Never.
local. Never. Okay. Well,
I even say back-to-back hurricanes did not stop the flow of Kava.
That's commitment. Yeah.
We're in St. Pete, remember? There's like 10 Kava bars on the way to work.
It got close though. I was checking on Sloan, like, you need anything? The only response was like, oh, I still have Kava left. So I knew all the world was good. Awesome. So that was the only thing she was worried about. But yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I just think it's, one of the most interesting questions about the Kava space, I think, is where does all this botanical stuff end up in 5 or 10 years time? Because you were saying it, Lawrence, like there's Kava, there's kratom, there's CBD, there's THC, there's the deltas, right? Those are all nuanced things. There's functional mushrooms, there's ashwagandha, right? And do we have in the grocery store a botanical fridge where you can get your mushroom drink, you can get your Kava drink, right? Or do you see Kava in the non-alc section, right? Next to the mocktails and aperitifs and all that stuff. Yeah. I don't know the answer. I don't think anyone knows the answer, but I can tell you Sprouts is viewing it from an alcohol replacement angle. So they said, we want to put this right next to athletic brewing and other alternatives and that is in the beer and wine aisle. Yeah. So you go there and then there's like Kin Euphorics, if you guys have heard of them. And
I sell all of that. Kin, Breeze, Hi-Yo, Leilo. And what's interesting is as I'm seeing this market change, I'm asking the same question, Art. Where is this product going to be placed? How are they going to, because first impression is everything. If I am trying to stop drinking, I'm probably not going to go to the alcoholic section, but I would like to know that is another option for me. So where else would you kind of put it? And you were talking about ashwagandha and things like that. And one thing that I bring up when I sell this product in my store is the L-theanine. So how did that get put in here? And what made you think like this would be a perfect addition to, which is by far probably a selling point for this product is the
L-theanine. Yeah, we didn't want people to be drowsy drinking the product. So you can definitely have like full body Kava relaxation and just become a noodle. And that's not exactly what we wanted for a single Leilo to give you. So it's kind of enough to perk you up, keep you balanced. We didn't want to caffeinate it because that can sometimes, lead to confusing reactions. But L-theanine is that perfect balancer, keeps you alert, keeps you focused. And that's, it's a question that we've asked a lot. Are there other functional ingredients that we should pair with this? Mm-hmm. But we think that being the Kava brand, all we do is Kava. Yeah, there's a little bit of L-theanine, but we're Kava first and Kava focused is the winning strategy over time. I think it's very easy to get, off a path or to lose an identity by saying, well, mix this and we'll mix that. And we don't really, we're not loyalists to any one thing. And so if you think about the brands that are big today, the one who we feel most similar to is Guayaki Yerba Mate.
Yes, one of my favorite products, man. Oh, one of my favorite.
And those, if you guys know the story there's a great How I Built This, I think, the podcast on their story. But it was a bunch of friends, a bunch of surfers in San Luis Obispo, California.
Not to cut you off, Sol. If we do cut the feed cuts, we'll just resume. But I think I got
no worries.
But go ahead.
But it was a bunch of friends, and they went to Argentina and they tried mate and said, "This is amazing. We should be doing this in." And mate, you know, is brewed similar to kava. It has a lot of similar. They just produce opposite effects, but you know, their composition is very similar. And they brought it back to California, and that was in like 1995 or something crazy. Like, this was a long time in the making. It's been almost 30 years. But now everyone knows yerba mate, and they're a billion-dollar plus company because they believed in it and they were willing to play the long game. And they didn't say, well, let's also add taurine into our yerba mate because that's what Red Bull is doing, right? They stayed authentic. So we always, because it's tempting, guys. It's like Kratom is going gangbusters right now. Like, we've thought about that. People have approached us. Do you want to do a collab? And we always remind ourselves, staying true to Kava, where we came from, that's what's going to win.
And I'm a huge advocate on, you know, telling people about the culture of Kava, where it came from, because, you know, America, we will take a product and we will market it and we will figure out how to make it stronger, whatever. And sometimes where it came from kind of gets lost. So I always respect Kava bars that that know where their Kava is coming from. If I ask a Kava sender, where's your Kava from, and they don't know, I'm going out the door, because I'm like, you just do this business to make some money, you know?
What kind of Kava do you like?
Yeah, what's your favorite Kava?
My Fijian friends would be upset if I admitted this, but I think Vanuatu blends are the best, the strongest, most biggest bang for
all right.
This is off the record.
Oh no, we'll drink our Vanuatu to that.
Shout out to Nakamal at home.
But I do think the cool thing, and what's interesting about the Kava space is you have complete novices, which are great. Leilo is built on the novice Kava consumer who says, I want to feel this, but I don't want to taste it the normal way. And I don't want to deal with the hassles of preparation, right? I just want it in a can. So that's oftentimes people's first experience with Kava. But then, as you guys know, you can go all the way down the chain and become a connoisseur, where you know the differences in where Kava is grown, right? And how is it heady or is it heavy? And, you know, and I think that's like going to be the cool thing with the evolution of Kava, when people realize, like, wow, we're just scratching the surface on all the different varieties and all the different mixtures. It'll be like wine, where you can get really specific about what you're taking.